Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has been advocating the construction of a new canal in Istanbul since 2011. The proposed Istanbul Canal, which is expected to cost around $20 billion, would run parallel to the existing Bosphorus Strait, connecting the Black Sea and the Sea of Marmara. The canal would be approximately 45 kilometers long and would be able to accommodate vessels of up to 300 meters in length. The project has been met with both excitement and criticism, with concerns ranging from environmental impact to the feasibility of the construction. So in this video, we'll tell you about Turkey's plans for a $20 billion Istanbul Canal. Environmental concerns. As previously mentioned, the Istanbul Canal has faced significant opposition due to its potential environmental impact. The construction of the canal would require the excavation of large amounts of soil and rock, which could cause soil erosion, landslides, and damage to wildlife habitats. Additionally, the excavation of the canal would require the removal of significant vegetation and trees along its route, which could lead to the loss of biodiversity in the area. Environmental groups have expressed concern that the canal could also lead to increased pollution in the Sea of Marmara and the Black Sea, which could harm marine life and negatively impact local fishing communities. Critics of the canal argue that the Bosphorus Strait is already a heavily trafficked waterway, and the construction of the canal could significantly increase the volume of maritime traffic, which could lead to increased pollution and potentially dangerous accidents. The potential environmental impact of the Istanbul Canal has been a subject of debate since the project was first proposed. In response to these concerns, the Turkish government has stated that it will conduct extensive environmental impact studies before construction begins to ensure that the canal is built in an environmentally responsible way. Economic benefits. Proponents of the Istanbul Canal argue that the project would bring significant economic benefits to Turkey. The canal would provide a new route for shipping between the Black Sea and the Mediterranean, bypassing the Bosphorus Strait, which is often congested and can be closed due to weather conditions. This would lead to increased efficiency and cost savings for shipping companies, as well as reducing the risk of accidents. In addition, the Istanbul Canal would create new opportunities for real estate development along its banks, as well as provide new ports and logistical centers for trade. Proponents argue that the canal could create tens of thousands of jobs and bring in billions of dollars in revenue for Turkey. The canal would also provide a strategic advantage for Turkey, allowing the country to assert its position as a major player in global trade. It could provide a new route for oil and gas shipments from Russia to the Mediterranean and beyond, reducing the reliance on existing shipping routes that pass through the Bosphorus Strait. The Istanbul Canal would also provide new opportunities for tourism in the region, as visitors would be able to take boat tours along the canal and enjoy the scenic views of Istanbul from the water. This could lead to increased revenue for local businesses and job creation in the tourism industry. The Turkish government has estimated that the Istanbul Canal could generate up to $15 billion per year in revenue for Turkey and create up to 100,000 new jobs. These economic benefits could help to support the country's long-term economic growth and development in Turkey. Feasibility. Another concern about the Istanbul Canal is its feasibility. Critics point out that the project would require the excavation of vast amounts of soil and rock, which would be a massive engineering feat. Additionally, the construction of the canal would require the relocation of thousands of people who currently live along the route. Despite these challenges, the Turkish government has remained committed to the project, with President Erdogan stating that it is a matter of national importance. The government has already conducted preliminary studies and secured financing for the project from Chinese banks. However, many experts argue that the feasibility of the Istanbul Canal project is highly uncertain. For example, there are concerns about the stability of the soil along the proposed route, as well as the potential for geological hazards such as landslides and earthquakes. In addition, the cost of the project is likely to be much higher than the estimated $20 billion. As the excavation and construction of the canal would be a complex and time-consuming process. There are also concerns that the project could face significant delays and cost overruns, as has been the case with other large-scale infrastructure projects in Turkey in recent years. The relocation of thousands of people who currently live along the route of the canal is also likely to be a major challenge. This would require significant investment in new housing and infrastructure, as well as careful planning to ensure that the needs and rights of local residents are taken into account. Finally, there are concerns that the Istanbul Canal could face significant opposition from other countries in the region, particularly Russia, which relies heavily on the Bosphorus Strait for shipping. Russia has previously expressed concerns about the potential impact of the Istanbul Canal on its own shipping routes, and has suggested that the project could violate international law. Opposition from environmentalists and local residents. However, the project has also faced significant opposition from environmentalists and local residents who are concerned about the impact it could have on the region's delicate ecosystem. The Bosphorus Strait is a narrow, heavily trafficked waterway that is already under significant stress from pollution, overfishing, and other environmental factors. Building a canal alongside it could exacerbate these problems and threaten the survival of several endangered species that rely on the strait's unique ecosystem. Critics of the project also argue that the $20 billion price tag is too high and that the money could be better spent on other infrastructure projects, such as improving the city's public transportation system or upgrading its aging water and sewage systems. Despite these concerns, the Turkish government has pushed ahead with the project, arguing that it is necessary for the country's economic growth and national security. The government has promised to take measures to minimize the project's environmental impact, such as creating new wetlands to offset the loss of natural habitat, and has promised to consult with local residents and environmental groups throughout the construction process. To address concerns about the project's environmental impact, the government has promised to create new wetlands and green spaces to offset the loss of natural habitat and has pledged to consult with local residents and environmental groups throughout the construction process. The government has also stated that the project will be carried out in accordance with international environmental standards, and that measures will be taken to ensure that the canal does not harm the surrounding ecosystem. Critics remain skeptical of the government's promises and argue that the project could have significant negative consequences for the region's environment and economy. The Istanbul Canal project remains a controversial issue in Turkey and has sparked a heated debate between supporters and opponents of the project. So, what are your thoughts so far? If you liked the video, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to never miss out on any of our videos. The proposed Istanbul Canal is a massive infrastructure project that has generated significant controversy in Turkey and around the world. While the canal could bring significant economic benefits to Turkey, its potential environmental impact and feasibility remain a concern. The project will require careful planning, engineering expertise, and cooperation from all stakeholders to ensure that its benefits outweigh its potential negative impacts. The success of the Istanbul Canal could set a precedent for similar large-scale infrastructure projects around the world. Thank you for watching. If you liked our video, then hit the subscribe button to never miss out any of our videos. See you next time.